As I promised in the last video I made, when I show you basically the unboxing of the AGM 250 quadcopter frame that I got from AGM Hobby for review, I will start a series of videos showing you basically how to assemble this frame and basically the combo together in next let's say movie. So I want to start with the beginning, of course, the frame. Like I said in the unboxing video, you have a really comprehensive manual in good English, which basically shows you the parts list, so it's really easy to identify. For example, let's take only one little bag, H20 aluminum post for pieces, and basically you will find everything here inside the manual. Yeah, H20 aluminum post for pieces, number 7, and if you look on the diagram you'll find the number 7. So it's quite well thought, and it's really useful to build. So basically I put the plates in order. This should be the bottom plate. As you can see, this is the main plate, and this is the top plate on which you have the camera mount with the rubbers on it, okay, and the arm. So I have my digital caliper to just have an idea on the thickness of the parts. So let's just take a quick look. Yeah, 2.8, and again 2.8. Second one, 2.9. 2.9. Sorry for the buzzing. Okay. 275. 271. And this one seems thicker. Yes. 307 and 302. So it's clear they're not from the same carbon plate when they were cut out. But I would like to say that the cutting precision is pretty good, so you don't see really sharp edges that need to sanding from our side. Also the arm has a lot of holes for fixing the motor. The last mini quad I had to manually use a needle file to adjust here the fixation, but it seems on this one it looks good. We'll see when the episode with the motor mount will be made. And again, this is the top plate. Let's see the thickness of it. So 1.5, and again 1.5. The main plate, it's a little bit thicker. So it's 2, in the middle again 2, and on this end again 2. Okay, and the base plate, which is the lowest one, it's kind of thin. Okay, let me see if something is wrong. So 140, and you can see 136. So I would have preferred that this base plate, as you can see here, would have been a little bit thicker, because between this and this you will mount the quad arms. So this basically gives better rigidity and less flex in the frame. But yeah, we'll see later on when it's done. So I just wanted to see the thickness of the parts, and I will start the assembly. So first and easiest things I would like to start with is this mounting for the action camera, let's say. It's really easy and simple. It comes with this rubber dampers or bobbins, how do you want to call it, and you just put it in the right position, and basically rotate it until it's fixed in position. So for this part it's easy, but when you already have all the dampers in position and you want to finally assemble it, then you will find that it's actually not so easy, because you will have this scenario where you have these two parts with 4 dampers that you need to insert, so it's gonna be a little bit more difficult, but we'll see in a few seconds. So here it is after it's mounted. It was pretty easy because the holes are quite generous on this side, but it's still a bit tricky how to assemble. I'm sure everybody will manage to do this really easy, and they had no issues. So normally this is on the upper side of the quad, and attached on it you can put your mini camera like the Mobius, or in my case the Xiaomi E camera with a strap, and this will absorb the vibrations generated by the motors and basically reduce or eliminate the jello effect. Okay, we'll see more in a few seconds. Guys, don't be scared, I didn't finish the build. I'd strongly suggest that before going further on any quad kits, personally I'm doing a mock-up of the build to see how the routing would look like for the cable, for the AC, for the power and so on. So basically the quad will look similar like this when finished. Of course I didn't put the spacers, I didn't attach the arms. So even though I said I will focus only on the frame, I cannot do it at this moment, because in order to complete the frame I have to put and install here the speed controllers, because I want to put them here, 1, 2, 3, 4, so they are protected here inside, and normally you have no heat issues. On the bigger quads I used to put them on the arm, so you have a better airflow from the propellers, but in this case I will put them here because it's more compact. So let me just take the speed controllers out. You didn't see it in the first unboxing, so it's 12 amp with BL Heli firmware inside. Now you have a guide showing you really in good English basically everything. Okay. These are normally pre-programmed for multi-rotor, so you don't have to do anything. Just make sure when you glue them, don't overheat them, because on an ESC you can damage the speed controller. It happened to me also once on a bigger quad. I put too much heat and it died. So just be careful. Use just quick touching with the soldering iron. When you get to the right temperature, apply the substance to make the contact, and then cool it off quickly. So don't keep it with the tip of the iron too much, because you could damage it. Now I see one really nice feature about these speed controllers, that they are pre-fitted with bullet connectors. So this makes the assembly much more easier. Let me just look again at one of the motors, because I don't remember if they are already fitted also with the bullet connectors or not. No, they are not. So this means you have to buy a really small bullet connector. Yeah, it should be the under 3 mil in size. So as you can see, these have bullet connector and these don't have. So yeah, the connection here is missing. So normally on this size of quad I don't even use this bullet connector. I just cut it off and glue directly to the right length that I need. For example, if the motor is here and you put the ESC here, you see you have more than enough length to have a clean gluing like this. So basically I will secure the ESCs in position, as you can see, really nice layout, and then we'll see what will be the next step to do. Okay, the next step in the assembly is to secure, like I said, the speed controllers. I did this by using the provided tie wraps in the kit, and I tried to put somehow the big capacitors somewhere here in the frame. So as you can see, the bigger part it's here, so it doesn't block me when I will put the upper plate here. So that's the whole point. If you don't put this as much as possible here in the cutout, then you will have issues when closing this bigger part on it. So even like this, I think I might have some issues, but you can see here it looks well. Okay, let me see the focus. Okay, but I will have to make sure that everywhere it looks well and I don't squeeze too much and risk of damaging some of the components in the speed controllers. So basically that was the next step to do in the assembly. Use tie wraps, cut the extra length here on this bottom, on the bottom side, and then I normally pull all the cables through this opening, so I have them available here. Put the legs, as you will see soon, and then basically the quad will start to take shape. And then the next important thing is to secure the power distribution board, and of course using spacers you will have to put the flight controllers. Okay, so after using the bigger screws you have in the kit together with these blue spacers, which you just simply put together and screw. Also it's a good idea, I would say, to just make sure they are really tight. So I think if you have a good grip you can just use it manually, otherwise you need some pliers here. Also for this kind of quads, I don't really like to use thread locks like I use in the RC helicopter, where you have bigger vibrations. I use basically nail polish I borrow from my wife. So basically, in order to have a good fixation, I'm pretty sure some of you already use this, so yeah, just apply a little bit here, here, here and here. So everywhere you have this kind of screws, just apply a little bit of nail polish and you will not have an issue of the screws coming off during flight because of vibration. So basically just do this and you will have no issues later on. Okay, so you have it done. And now normally you can basically assemble the plates. So this is perfectly symmetrical, it doesn't matter which part is the front and which one is the back. Just for you to see, you just assemble it. Okay, like I said, it's a mock-up. I have to pull the wires where I should pull the wires, so there's no problem. But it would look like this. Of course the wires have to go up on where the distribution board will be. But just for you to have an idea, having this spacer I think is good, because you have enough space to keep the speed controllers inside secured, and basically you eliminate the risk of damage during crashes. Okay, it's really simple. After you arrange the wires, you should just use these provided screws that basically will hold in position, so they will not come loose. They will be tightened a bit heavier by hand. You need a lot of force because they have already a washer, like seal washer here built in, so you need some pliers to hold it, or a key, normal key, and a hexagonal key on this other side. So basically you just use all 8 of them and your bottom part is assembled. And then later on, very simple and easy, you just use this piece that is for the camera mount. Of course this will be on top of it like this, and then you will need to use the 6 of the provided big spacers. So pretty easy to do. The manual is really useful. You can identify all the parts. As you can see, you have sections, you see which part goes where, and then you can clearly identify it by the number. So it's pretty neat so far. Next step, I just put the power distribution board like this to see how it will look. And according to these plastic screws, I think I can isolate, like you see here, the distribution board on the lower washer, and then really on top here to put the flight controller, the CC3D provided in the kit. Because there is no magnetometer in this version of the CC3D, there is no electrical field interference here. Normally on bigger quad with compass and basically risk of interference, you need to put the distribution board as far as possible from the flight control. But in this case, I will have to put them on the same screw basically, but with a spacer. So regarding wire routing, I decided to pull all these plus minus here on the side openings, as you can see, and the wires that will go into the flight controller from the ESCs, to pull them in the front, 2 here and 2 here in the back. Just be careful what I do every time when I power it from the ESC, the flight controller that is. I keep the complete wires, like you see here, only in the front left ESC, so that would be this one. And for the other one, please don't forget to remove the middle, the power wire. Yeah. So as a safety measure, I remove, basically I open this latch and I take the wire out, tape it, because you might need it for the throttle range calibration, so don't cut it completely, but just remove the 3, keep one, whatever you want. I usually use the front left one for powering the board. Okay, after I did this, it's time that we can put the arms. I'll have to see what's the best option for the routing for the motors, but so far this is not gonna be final position, but just I wanna see how it looks like, if everything is fine, and so far should be. So it would look something like this. Then the next one, again, open it just a little bit so you can slide it in position. Okay, second one in place, third one, and the final and last one here. So after everything was put in position, the quad would look something like this. Of course the motor wires need to be routed and glued and so on, but you have an idea about how it will look. So it's gonna be something like this. Of course you will have to put the provided screws, all 8 of them, yeah, sorry. And then when you tighten this, you will finally have a frame with hopefully good rigidity inside and no flex. So we'll see what will be next. Before the completion of the frame assembly and basically moving on to the electronics, just one thing to keep in mind: this top plate, which you see here, will be mounted on the middle plate, let's say, with 6 blue spacers that you see here, that look like this. So this is what you'll have to use. And just for a better understanding, so this will be fitted like this, and then you'll have the spacers two here in the front, the next two will be here in the middle, I didn't fit the second one, and the last two will be here and here. Yeah, these two positions. So just before, after making your mock-up and finishing the build, with the middle plate, just make sure you attach these blue spacers, two here, and the last two here. So it's right near the fixation of the arm. So it's really easy, you cannot miss the holes. Yeah. So in order to do that, after we made the mock-up of the layout, just basically turn the quad like this, and basically you just need to use one of the M3 by 6mm screws, 29 of them. Take one of those, sorry, and put one here. I hope you can see it. Yeah, so it's here. Then very easy and simple, take with the spacers, hold it and just screw it in place like this, and you can use the provided hexagonal Allen key to tighten it really good. If needed, you can use some pliers, but just put some taper foam on the jaw so you don't scratch it. But I think it's more than enough. It's well and it's tight. In the end, like I suggested before, use some simple nail polish to apply here on the thread so it doesn't come loose during flight. I'll be back when it's finished. So we're almost to the end of the frame assembly basically, and preparing the wire routing and all the cabling for the final part, which is the motor installation, and basically all the electrical connections that need to be done with the flight controller and the receiver. So just before that I used this provided in the kit power distribution board. As you can see, it's really simple and neat. So basically this is the main power. I use an XT60, not the provided socket with the kit. I don't have batteries for this anymore, so all my batteries and all my quads and helis are on XT60. So it's really simple. You have everything labeled with plus and minus, and here on the bottom you have LED. So this is where you can put the front and the back LEDs for the quad for visibility. And here you have TX CCD. So basically there's another power output option for your maybe video transmitter or some other gadget you wanna install it on the quad. So basically it's really simple. I routed all the cables from the speed controllers, two of them from this side, going here on the back where you have the ESCs, and here on the side. So basically here on the side, on the left and on the right and front back, there are for each ESCs. Yeah, it's basically glued, so it's not a big deal. I use the spacers to keep it low. So these are provided within the kit. The only issue, let's say, is that for this setup you will not be able to use the provided CC3D flight controller, because that has the protection case. So basically, as you can see, it just doesn't work. Yeah, you can put it like this maybe if you really want, and put some kind of velcro or something on top of it, but anyway it will absorb all vibrations. So I will keep the case, but I think I will put some foam here just to absorb a little bit of the vibrations, and quite useful. I will show you later on when we'll set up the CC3D how to set up the orientation of the board so the USB doesn't have to come to the back according to the arrow which points ahead. I think you can see it now. So because of connectivity issues during setup, I prefer to rotate the board like this or like this. So basically the USB is on a side, each way, left or right, doesn't matter. So basically, yeah, one mistake I did, because usually I don't read manuals, I just read the manual when I have issues. Be careful how you put the spacers, because by putting them wrong, like I did, I put the top plate, I put the spacer, and then I put the arms below. So this is wrong, because then the frame will flex too much. So this is the order that is shown also in the manual and the order that it should be. So now the quad is stiffer, and we'll have to see how it performs. Okay, basically, yeah, everything is prepared for the electrical connection. These are the wires that will go to the motors on each side. Of course, I don't have the tiny bullet connectors, and of course I also don't need extra connectors that vibrate on high resonance frequency. So I will probably remove this and solder it directly for each of the four motors here. Then on the next video we'll see how we'll set up and how we'll connect the CC3D and how we program it, so that we'll get towards the finish of this build videos. Okay, just one more thing, as explained before, yeah, the 6 spacers are meant to hold the upper plate, so when completed the frame will look something like this, and it's really very much similar to the QAV 250 frame. Okay, thanks for watching, and we'll see us in the next video. Bye bye.